One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on to wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his backs will cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Man, oh man, it is Thursday morning, and we've got a lot of fucking shit going on around the world, ladies and gentlemen. Much love, honor, respect to everybody. We've got the Breakfast Club up in the building. Shout out to everyone, man. Always appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us. You guys could have picked anywhere else to hang out, but you guys decided to be right here with me, so I'm very honored with that. Listen, we got a lot to get through, obviously. We got this is going to be live coverage basically from the last 12 hours all the way up until just 10 minutes ago. So we're going to be starting with one of the newest stories that is not normally used in my rotation. We're going to go into WION, which is like an Indian-based news network or whatever. And so we're going to go into what they're reporting as well. And then we've got a ton of shit. We've got Israel, Iran, could bunker buster bombs be used on an Iranian nuclear site? That was, let me see, this was in particular 14 hours ago. And then the one before next to that is Americans evacuate from Israel amid escalating tensions 11 hours ago. Then we have an actual video of Iran launches missile barrage on main Israeli hospital, which was only 4 hours ago. And then we have the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu on Iran, quote, "We will destroy nuclear facilities," 1 hour ago. So we have everything lined up, ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our lineup for the morning. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way in. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are new to the show, man, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Also, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is exactly how we get to do this show, is because we're 100% funded by you guys, and we never cater to YouTube views to make any type of money. So it's all because of you guys, man. Very much appreciate your guys' contributions to the show, man. Follow my Instagram, a little side note here, at Ball Valve TV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as Millennial Food Time, all sorts of great shit. Make sure you guys go over there. I break news on my Instagram constantly, especially regards to Israel, Iran, and anything Middle East, really. And I'm still even breaking news, here in the United States, what's happening in the States as well. But someone that is super into like geopolitics and shit, it's going to be worldwide. And obviously, what's the biggest conflict right now is, aside from Russia, Ukraine, we have the Middle East, obviously. We're kind of thrown into the middle of that. Okay, last but not least, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all these things are going to be shouted out and presented live onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut, then we have these platforms scrolling for the remainder of the show. And of course, I will shout you and your message out from on those side. And if you guys are here for Lucy, Lucy's right there. So make sure to hit the like button for Lucy. She's like going up and down. I don't know if she's like cleaning herself or what she's doing, but she is right there. And good to see everyone, man. Hopefully all is well. We got brother Slim up in the building. We got Naomi as well. Good morning to you guys. Rabbit of Chaos, good morning to you. Scramble North. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us, man. We got Charles Darwin from down under, down there in Australia, the land of make believe. You know, we got Brother Warland as well, man. We got Chairman of the Board saying Happy Juneteenth. It's a special day every year that is safe harbor to remind us that we had slavery. Jesus Christ, dude. Happy 12. I thought it was 13%, but all right. Let's see here. We're working our way down. We got Rebecca up in the building from up there in Canada. Good to see you. We got Naomi dropping the Discord link. Make sure you guys get into that Discord, bro. You'll see her, bro. She'll be around. She's over there on the couch. We got Gunpowder Nitro as well. Good morning to you as well. We got Carney's Ride. I think he's also live. Hopefully he's still live right now. Good to see you, my man. And yeah, I did point her out. She was there. I promise you. We got Path Killer as well. Much love, honor, respect to you, as well as Gary. All right, you guys, we're pretty much all caught up. All right. And that's right. The like button hit grudgingly. You know, that's cool. That's cool. I respect it. All right. So we've got the update here. And real quick before I do, we got Tiffany as well making her way in. Good to see you. All right. So this is from 15 minutes ago. This came out from or Al Jazeera. And then we do also have some WION stuff, but we may not be presenting it. I meant to say Al Jazeera. Anyways, they're a Qatari-funded news media agency over there. So they are doing a good job of presenting the other side, meaning Iran's side, and what's happening over there. Because we don't really have a lot of live camera footage over there in Iran. It's not like we can just hop into a live camera and just start looking like you can with Israel. You know what I mean? So anyways, this states Israel attacks Iran's Arak. I don't know what Arak is. Heavy water reactor as Iranian missile hits Israeli hospital. All right. This is what we're going to go ahead and start off with. This was just 15 minutes ago. Let's go ahead and see what they've got to say. Israel report, only 2.5 minutes.
Israeli strikes on Iran have intensified. The military struck near Iran's heavy water facility at Hondab. That's part of the country's nuclear program. The facility is still under construction and not expected to start operating until next year. But observers say there's no risk of a nuclear leak.
That is of no danger to people outside the immediate area of a bombing. You're more likely to be killed by the bomb than you are by something from the uranium itself. It poses no danger whatsoever to people outside a few kilometers from.
Really? You destroy some nuclear shit and it's only going to affect people within a couple of kilometers? Bro, I think that's cap.
It's not the cap.
I mean, if I blow up a nuclear site, you can damn well expect that there's going to be issues going on there probably for the next 30, 40 years, you know?
From each one of these plants. Chemical and radiologic hazards are quite small. The one counter to this is Bushehr, which is a major power plant, nuclear power plant. If someone were to attack that plant, you would expect that the worst case would be something like Fukushima. There could be releases of material in the immediate region as well, but it's well contained inside a large concrete dome.
In the last 24 hours, Israel has targeted the headquarters of Iran's internal security agency in Tehran and military facilities across the capital. As the violence shows no sign of slowing down, internet services across Iran are facing disruptions and air travel remains suspended. Meanwhile, Iranian missiles struck across Israel on day 7. The biggest hospital in southern Israel is damaged in one attack.
Damn.
Iranian military says Soroka Hospital in Beersheba is next to an Israeli military headquarters, and the strike targeted that building.
We have 40 injured people.
Yo, that's cap, bruh.
For people who were in the hospital at the time. The vast majority of these staff and patients are lightly wounded from broken glass, falling ceilings, and other effects. They were all treated in our emergency.
They're trying to say that they weren't trying to hit the hospital. They're trying to hit a building that's right next to the hospital. Yo, that is such cap. That's cope. That's cope. You know what I mean? Just say that you wanted to take out motherfuckers. That's what you did. You aimed and targeted a fucking hospital. Good job. Good job, Iran. You know, making a great face for yourself.
Tel Aviv and other locations were also hit by dozens of missiles. A business district and residential areas were damaged as Israeli air defenses struggle against Iranian missiles. And the more it drags on, hope of a negotiated solution is fading. Paul Ging, Al Jazeera.
And they did shut that shit down. If you're talking about the internet, not only do they have power issues, but they took down all of their internet as well. We got Mount High up in the building. Good to see you, my man. We definitely got our left-handed tobacco running, you know, and it is dumb, isn't it crazy? All right, so let's go ahead and present the next ordeal here because that was quick. So the next couple of stories are a little bit longer, but these are questions I think that everyone's going to be asking, you know, the bunker buster bombs and how it can be used. I think they even show like an AI or I don't know what it is, what they show, the equipment that is necessary for these bunker bombs.
I'm Andrew Kraft. We're at the top of a new hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Thank you to my colleague, Andy Mack, for guiding you through the last couple of hours on yet another busy day.
We got Al Robles up in the building. Not all Israelis are Jewish, just like not all Americans are Christian, but religious Jews hijacked the government. Shit. What's up, Robles? We got Al Robles up in the building. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far and enjoying your Thursday.
This busy Wednesday. Speaking of senators, take a look at this. I want to put up this post there. Burgess Everett, he covers Capitol Hill. A Schumer aide has said that Senator Schumer has confirmed there will be an all senators classified briefing on Iran early next week. And I don't have to tell you know this, in a week's time, so much can change and the world can change and breaking news happens and we evolve with it. And so it looks like senators will have an all classified briefing on next steps on Iran next week. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we're going to focus our efforts right now. Let's move from Capitol Hill. Gorgeous live now look there in Washington after the nation's capital got quite the downpour. It looks like the sun's coming up. Let's focus our efforts, though, on the Middle East. We have live pictures there still yet again.
So this was around 6 p.m. yesterday. So this was a little over 12 hours ago, 14 hours ago. Yep.
And also in Jerusalem. And the question
but
now...
it makes sense. I have to be able to play this for you guys to catch you guys up. And there was, a speech done from Netanyahu. I guess he speaks on the conflict as it's going on. So we have it all in here, consolidated to an extent, but we do have to play this in order to catch up with what's happening live now.
Is what will President Trump do? What will he decide about whether or not the United States will strike targets inside Iran to help Israel's efforts there? Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more on that very question. Let's listen.
You're not kidding, Slim. That's what he's doing.
More airstrikes overnight and into this morning as Israel continues its mission to wipe out Iran's nuclear program.
Israel is doing what the entire world said.
Exactly, by the way, Charles. You do need a B-2, and the B-2 carries 2 at the same time. But yeah, anyways, let me go ahead and bring it back. It's the only big-ass plane that can, aircraft that can actually deal with it, and it has to be dropped out of American asset.
Continues its mission to wipe out Iran's nuclear program.
Israel is doing what the entire world said they would do. They would stop Iran from having this weapon.
But to finish the job, the Israelis might need help from the United States. One of Iran's key nuclear facilities is buried deep inside a mountain, and Israel doesn't have the firepower needed to destroy it. But the U.S. could use its B-2.
That's it right there. That's the B-2. Shit. That's a motherfucking plane if I've ever seen one. Now, remember that each one of those bunker bombs are 30,000 pounds each. Each one of them are 30,000 pounds, bro. That's a lot of weight to be flying. Like, could you imagine, like, getting on there and they're like, you can't bring your luggage here. You're going to have to pay an extra $100 for your, extra 25 pounds of luggage. Meanwhile, we're lofting in 30,000 pound bombs and shit. No problem.
In bunker buster bombs to take it out.
You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
President Trump has 2 words for Iran: unconditional surrender.
That means I've had it.
But Iran's supreme leader says that's not going to happen and warns the U.S. entering into this war is 100% to its own detriment. The damage it will suffer will be far greater than any harm that Iran may encounter. On Capitol Hill, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth would not comment on any potential U.S. action. My question for you...
Yo, Blackout over there on the freaking Twitch side of things. Good to see you, man. Hopefully you're doing well this morning.
Is whether you have been asked actively to provide options for the president regarding a strike in the Middle East.
If I had or I had not, I wouldn't disclose that in this forum, Senator.
The U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem is now working on evacuation flights and cruise ship departures for Americans who need help leaving Israel. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Yeah, Americans are like, fuck this.
Rebecca, thanks so much. In the meantime, we did get an update on social media from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on day 6.
It's kind of weird. Like, I guess my mindset is just so much fucking different than the average or something. But it's funny because I've said this on the show a couple of times. I definitely am interested in wanting to go to Israel to say that I visited. I speak on it so much that I should actually be there and experience it myself. But But nonetheless, it's so funny how when conflict like this is going on, people are like, get me the fuck out. Meanwhile, when this kind of shit is going down, I'm like, how can I get there quicker? Like, I want to get there right now. I want to be a part of the fucking craziness. I want to be there, you know? And I think that's a sick, demented, fucked up thing I got. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I guess I'll just start recording everything, you know? But obviously Israelis, the Israeli government and the IDF is not going to allow you to just start recording everything you want over there. It's just the way it is. A lot of countries are that way.
Of Operation Rising Lion. Let's listen.
Here goes. So it's going to be translated down here with captions. We began this campaign in order to remove two existential threats to the state of Israel: the nuclear threat and the ballistic missile threat. We are advancing step by step to remove these threats. We control the skies over Tehran. We are striking the Ayatollah's regime with great force. We are attacking nuclear installations, missiles, command centers, and the symbols of the regime. I must tell you that I speak with the world leaders, and they are very impressed by our determination and the achievements of our forces. I think that's what it said. They are also greatly impressed by you, citizens of Israel, by your strong spirit and by your steadfast, and I must say, we are sustaining many losses, painful losses, but we see that the home front is strong. The people are strong, and the state of Israel is stronger than ever. I have directed the government ministries to assist all those who have been harmed. At the same time, the intense fighting in the Gaza Strip is continuing. We are committed to achieving the two tasks: defeating Hamas and returning all of our hostages, living and deceased. We will not relent. To my regret, in recent days as well, heroic soldiers have fallen. I share in the family sorrow. We send condolences on behalf of the government and the entire nation. We embrace them. We will continue until we bring them all, and until Hamas is finally defeated. I would like to thank President Trump, a great friend of the state of Israel. I thank him for standing alongside us, and I thank him for the support of the U.S. in assisting in defending the skies over last night. We speak frequently, including last night. We had a very warm conversation. I thank President Trump for his backing. Citizens of Israel, together we will fight, and with God's help, together we will win. Why didn't they put the O right there? Why did they like as if God is a bad word? And with G dash blank D's, that's crazy. And with God's help, together we will win. That's it. All right, so let me go ahead and bring back the volume.
That was a message from the Israeli leader, Benjamin Netanyahu, just today, highlighting the phone call he had with President Trump just yesterday.
What's up, Straight?
And we know President Trump grappling with this question on whether or not to use U.S. assets to strike inside Iran, particularly and specifically on this nuclear site known as the Fordo site. In the meantime, let's talk about all of this with national security analyst and expert in retired Marine intelligence.
What's up, Blair 1%er, my man? Good to see you, by the way.
Officer Hal Kemper, he joins me. Hal, good to see you here.
And Brother Lee.
You and I have not spoken since Thursday, before the initial attack, before Israel launched the preemptive strikes, and boy, has a lot happened since, so it's good to see you. Our viewers know you. You're a familiar face to them, and your insight is invaluable. So I want to start with this. Let's go into this piece, this scoop by our friends and colleagues there at the Wall Street Journal, including reporter Lara Seligman and Alex Ward. They report this, Hal. President Trump told senior aides late Tuesday that he approved of attack plans for Iran, but was holding off on giving the final order to see if Tehran would abandon its nuclear program. It's according to 3 people familiar with the deliberations. So he met with the National Security Council today.
Are you talking about when it hits underground, when it hits the ground and then it buries underground? Is that what you were talking about with the bunker bomb? It dives down about 200 feet, even through a reinforced concrete, which is insane.
Yet again, a second time in a row in the Situation Room. That was this afternoon.
Christopher Collins.
What is the president grappling with? Because it seems like, according to the Wall Street Journal, he has made up his mind about this. He just needs to give the okay and to say when. He's still waiting for Iran to come crawling back to the
Brother Papa, good morning to you as
table.
well.
The Ayatollah today didn't seem like that was going to happen here. So help us make sense of the president's thinking right now. According to the Wall Street Journal, he's made up his mind, but he's still giving Iran the off-ramp. Why?
Well, Andrew, I would say historically that's what presidents have done, particularly in the Middle East. And I have literally been on the ground in the Middle East while this is all going on. There's always the option of them coming up with some sort of diplomatic
Hardwire 1%er as well.
Solution. In this case, you know, if the Ayatollah was to come back, if Iran was to come back, say, okay, we're going to open up all of our sites to the IAEA, we're going to dismantle all of our nuclear capability, anything that we can do for enrichment. Although at this point, there might be some requirements on what they do with ballistic missiles as well. You know, that's an off-ramp. And certainly you have to back that up with force. There's now, you know, 2 carrier task forces that are sitting, you know, near Iran, Gulf of Aden area, if you will, in that general area around there. But you also have another carrier task force coming into the Eastern Mediterranean, which provides a tremendous amount of firepower. Reports of about 30 aerial refuelers that were flown over there to support our aircraft or potentially support Israeli aircraft in terms of long-term strikes. And then there's B-2 bombers and maybe B-52 bombers in Diego Garcia. All of this is a way of saying it is being backed up with force. So the option is on the table of doing that, using that unique capability we have with those MOP, massive ordnance penetrator bombs. They could actually go in there with B-2 bombers and do that deep penetration bombing of those underground facilities in that mountain. All of
get some deep penetration. Just had to say it.
This is on the table, but all of this is being played out with the off-ramp of a very serious negotiation. And as you can see, certainly with Khamenei and his regime, they have to really understand the sort of Damocles is hanging right over their heads before they'll move. And that's not untypical of other situations we've had in the Middle East. And, you know, I've been involved with a couple of wars out there. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it rolls out.
So still looking at our live picture there over the skies of Tel Aviv tonight, Trump said this, Hal.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Hardwire is those bunker bombs are 30,000 pounds, and the B-2 carries 2 of them, and that's 60,000 pounds of explosive. Man, that's insane.
He do it. I may not do it. He also said the Iranians proposed to come for talks to the White House. That would be quite something. And I want to put this up. This is from Lucas Tomlinson, according to the IDF. 60 fighter jets completed a series of strikes in Tehran in recent hours. 20 nuclear weapons development sites and missile production sites were targeted. That was from about 40 minutes ago. So I have to ask you this, Hal, back out live to Tel Aviv. How cowed is Iran right now? How diminished are they? Because the comments from the Ayatollah today indicate there's some fight left in them. Now, would that change if the U.S. were to get involved? I mean, the Ayatollah rejected U.S. calls for surrender in the face of these strikes.
I'm with you,
Trump
Bill.
wants an unconditional surrender. He has tweeted that and posted about that multiple times. So the Ayatollah isn't budging. Why? What more does he have up his sleeve, if at all?
You know, he has a lot of ballistic missiles up his sleeves. Now, about half of at least as far as I know, about half of the launchers have been destroyed. Actually, probably.
Now, his ballistic missile program over there in Iran, I've heard anyways, it's like one of the best around the world. Ballistic missiles and hypersonic missile programs. They have it done. You know, they've got thousands of missiles. I mean, thousands upon thousands. So anyways.
More than half. So there's serious attrition on that. Now, when you get down to the southern part of Iran, furthest away from Israel.
Come on, man. We got all you guys up in here. We got 23 likes. We got to do a nice little halt to the show. Hold the show hostage, you know, pull a little Hamas move on you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys help out the show. You guys don't have to like what's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and my takes. You know what I mean? Very much appreciate that. And Bill says, do you bring guests on? Very, very, very rarely. Very rarely. Usually it's somebody that also is like an analyst. Anybody that's like into politics like that, I will. And then there's times that like, okay, so my morning show is presenting the news. You know what I mean? Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have evening shows where I have had panels before and had people come on, or special events like Christmas or Thanksgiving, stuff like that. I have people that come on to the show all the time just to hang out. So anyways, back to this.
There's inventories of ballistic missiles and launchers down there that is tougher for Israel to basically strike because it's so far away. It's just a longer mission. It requires aerial refueling. It requires a lot of things.
Frank?
So that's tough. That's one, of course, that would be wide open to carrier groups doing carrier air strikes. If the U.S. was to enter it, they could actually go in there and cause serious attrition. One thing you have to understand, though, is, and I should say everybody has to understand, is that you can't put a whole lot into some of the rhetoric that comes out of Tehran. Like I said, my history going back to the Middle East goes back 35 years, if you will. I've seen this sort of thing where, if you remember Baghdad Bob, he was sitting there talking about, the Americans are going to be destroyed and stuff, literally as our tanks are driving outside the where he's holding the news conference. So some of the rhetoric can be a little embellished, shall we say, very confrontational. But the reality on the ground is that they can't do anything. That's some of the mindset, some of the psychology that they're having to deal with is they have to make it very clear there's just nowhere to go. And I think that's what we're doing.
I was going to ask, there's this term in foreign policy and diplomacy known as strategic ambiguity. And the I may do it, I may not do it seems to, fit that to a T here. It seems like the president is trying to, get Iran to concede wholly, or at least bring them back to the table here. But he's trying to keep them on their toes. That's just kind of my assessment. I think you would agree with that. I only ask about what's going on in Iran right now. It was confirmed today that
Yo, brother, so loud up in the building. Shit. Good morning, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Thursday so far.
Confirmed this, that the satellite transmission of one of the state media companies, the Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting Group, was temporarily hacked. While it was hacked, a message reportedly played encouraging Iranians.
Yes, and I did see that to basically revolt and go for that regime change. And I heard a pro-Israeli hacking group was they took accountability for this. Now, I don't know what that means. What a obviously they're biased towards, Israel, of course, but I don't know where from. I don't know if it came from the United States, they hacked over here, or if it came from Israel. I have no idea. And I wish I did know. But anyways, let me go ahead and back it up a little bit because he's asking a actually really good question here.
Group was temporarily hacked. While it was hacked, a message reportedly played encouraging Iranians to pour out into the streets. Also, we heard that there was some type of major cyber attack on the Iranian central bank that for some time froze all assets in the bank there. So you're seeing some real sticking points within the regime itself, kind of trickling down to the Iranian rank and file. Is that going to give way to anything, do you think?
Well, what it is it's a psychological operation, and it's also dealing with economic and social cohesion. It's basically removing a number of pillars in society that the regime counts upon to try and create this idea that they're somehow able to do this. One of the things is you take away the finances, all right? If you can, and the problem is, with those types of attacks where you hack a media outlet, that there's quick corrective action that they can put in place to stop that. But you pick your time and place where you want to use those.
Not necessarily, homie. Not necessarily. Motherfuckers get hacked and they're not ready for that shit. Yeah, it takes a minute until you get your back control. Yeah, they're going to be able to play what they wanted to play over there in Iran.
Tools. And the other thing, which is probably a bigger psychological element, is that Israel has air superiority over all of Iran, but actually, with the exception of very low-lying, if there's except flights close to the ground, where they could potentially come under direct fire of automatic weapons or something like that. Really, Israel is kind of achieving almost air supremacy.
Okay.
And which means
they already have air supremacy. They are the kings out there right now. So let me go ahead and bring up a tweet here because they're presenting two different tweets. So I want to go ahead and hear why they're bringing it up.
Axios has some new reporting on this very subject here. They report that Trump has been pressing aides about the certainty of whether dropping bunker busters will actually destroy Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear facility. They report these doubts are one reason Trump was still questioning whether to move forward with the strike.
Up, Jack?
You mentioned that they penetrate the ground. How far into the ground? How deep does it go?
Well, it depends on how the fuse is set.
Okay.
I will take the exact characteristics of it, I think, are classified, but it goes pretty deep. Now, they have assessed that it could hit that facility, but that's actually the right question. President Trump is asking the right question. There has been some doubt, would it be enough? How many would have to be delivered? It could really destroy that. And of course, they're also probably looking very carefully at the intelligence. I don't know how much we know about those deep underground cavities, the bunkers themselves. That's really where you're kind of, that's where you're making your.
Well, I would assume that one being dropped, this is what has been stated in the media that, when they drop a bunker buster, they don't just drop one, they drop two. It penetrates 200 feet, even past a reinforced concrete. And then they fly over again and drop another, boom, boom. You just send two off. And it's pretty radical. Anyways, let's go ahead and switch this on over now. So Americans evacuate from Israel amid escalation tensions And this came out 12 hours ago. And then we have, luckily we're done decent on time. So we have that regarding the evacuation aspect. Then we have actual video footage. It's about 3.5 minutes of Iran launches missile barrage on main Israeli hospital. We actually have the footage of that. And then we have Netanyahu. I guess he is visiting the sites of the latest missile attack, missile strike over there in the at the Tel Aviv hospital or whatever. I think it's in Tel Aviv, but nonetheless, we have him speaking on Iran. Quote, "We will destroy nuclear facilities." So we have a lot to go ahead and get through. Let me go ahead and bring this up for you guys. 3, 2, 1, bam. All right, here we go.
All right, welcome back in Alive Now. I'm Austin Westfall. We continue to look at some of the damage seen in cities around Israel. The United States is working to evacuate U.S. citizens wishing to leave Israel by arranging flights and cruise ship departures.
What's up, Sport Brand?
According to U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee, he posted it on X earlier today. Fears are mounting of further military escalation between Iran and Israel, and a government plane evacuated a number of diplomats and family members who had asked to leave the country on Wednesday. But the U.S. government, they're not the only entity focused on evacuating Americans.
And that was in Israel. Those images that you just saw right there, I mean, it's pretty fucked up right now. Look at this shit. This is in Israel. This is Israel imagery right here.
Here today. Fears are mounting of further military escalation between Iran and Israel, and a government plane evacuated a number of diplomats and family members who had asked to leave the country on Wednesday. But the U.S. government, they're not the only entity focused on evacuating Americans. Project Dynamo, a nonprofit, is working on it too. They have boots on the ground.
Make sure you guys hit that likes, man. We got to get them likes up. So I very much appreciate your guys' laborious work hitting that like button, man. All right.
In Israel, Jordan, and the island of Cyprus, James Judge is with Project Dynamo. He's in Cyprus. The team has been there for several days. You've been there for about a day yourself. What do people need to know about your efforts out there?
Oh, first of all, thank you so much for having me on.
Good morning, my man.
Project Dynamo's efforts are the same whether we're dealing with Israel or whether we're dealing with Haiti or Afghanistan, Ukraine. When Americans are in harm's way and they need to get out of that place, whether it's a natural disaster or a war zone, our mission and purpose is to get Americans out of those dangerous situations. So people go to the website, they go to projectdynamo.net, and they fill out an evacuation request form. And if we have the resources, we're coming to get them. In this case, we started talking last Friday about.
And I have video footage of that, and I even post a lot of that video footage of Tehran, and both on both sides, on the Israeli side and Iran side. I show both sides. You know what I mean? So I definitely show off how brutal it's been on the Iran side too.
Figuring out logistical plans with the airspace being closed in Israel, how we were going to get people out effectively. And one of the ways that we looked at doing that was ground crossings into neighboring countries. We have been successful at doing that. So far, we've had about 100 people out so far with more buses rolling today. Each day we're doing a couple buses and we're getting more and more people out. We've gotten in hundreds of requests. The more that the media covers this story, the more people find out about Project Dynamo and the more requests are coming in. So if you know someone who needs to get out, please give them our information, let them know projectdynamo.net, and they just need to fill out an evacuation.
Gee, maybe that is true, Slim. Maybe that is true. You know what? Fuck it, I got you.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. So real quick, Papa Penguin says in the comments saying the Ayatollah appears to have spread around some of his military authority, seems to be preparing to carry on the fight even if he gets taken out. Holy shit, dude, that's crazy. We got Mike as well. Good morning to you, kind sir. Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Saying good morning. With technology today, do our civilians really need to be in areas like this to conduct business? No, it's definitely not necessary. I think it's smart to do so because that's often used as a very good debate tactic. Is like, oh, well, you haven't fucking actually been there, so you can't speak about it. You know, maybe you should go experience it yourself. Now, the truth is, I've traveled many countries, and I've been to places that most Americans would not. So I definitely have a different perspective. But when you're actually there, you can definitely feel the difference there, you know. But I just want to do it for myself. That's it. Anyways, back to
the
this.
request form, and help will be on the way.
So we know Americans are definitely going to be start evacuating the Middle East as these tensions arise. I think that we know and understand this aspect. So I don't think we need to dive any further into that. What we're going to do now is we're going to move into Iran, a video image. I guess it was one of the live video images over there in Tel Aviv. Iran launches missile barrage on main Israeli hospital. So I have that for us here. Let me go ahead and present this live for us. Boom. All right.
Following breaking news this Thursday morning, learning that Iranian strikes hit a main hospital in southern Israel. There is audio that I want to play out before we get into the latest details.
I hate that sound. Sounds just like our tornado alarms too.
So with that video, you could hear the sirens as the strikes were happening.
Look at that shit.
You continue to watch the video as I explained the latest from the Associated Press. They report an Iranian missile slammed into the main hospital in southern Israel early this Thursday, causing extensive damage, but no serious injuries. This according.
Wait, where's North Korea firing missiles at? Where are they firing at?
To the medical facility. Israeli media airing footage that you're seeing here on your screen of blown out windows and heavy black smoke. Other missiles hit a high-rise building and several other residential buildings in at least 2 sites near Tel Aviv. At least 40 people were wounded in the attacks, according to Israel's rescue service. Israel, meanwhile, carrying out strikes of their own on Iran's Arak heavy water reactor in its latest attack on the country's sprawling nuclear program. This on the 7th day of a conflict that began with a surprise wave of Israeli airstrikes targeting.
You, what's up, Beezer? Good morning, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning.
Military sites. This coming from senior officers and nuclear scientists. We are getting a live look in Israel on this Thursday morning. I want to transition to show you the aftermath as the Iranian strikes hit a main hospital in southern Israel. We're also getting the very latest from Israeli Defense Forces this morning. Transitioning your screen, they put this out on X early this Thursday saying, quote, raw footage, this hospital was one of Iran's targets this morning. Take a listen to the audio.
Whoa, look at this shit. This is from inside of the hospital right here. I don't hear any audio. There it is. Wow, that's loud.
אימא'לה, מה קורה בסורוקה? טירוף מוחלט. הכל שבור. זה לא אמיתי מה קורה פה.
That's a lot of damage. I don't know.
So you could hear the chaos.
I don't know how many were confirmed hurt, injured, killed. I have no idea the numbers right now.
Inside of the hospital, again, that from Israeli Defense Forces this Thursday morning as they report the hospital on your screen, one of Iran's targets this morning. And then again, as we mentioned, several residential buildings were impacted as well. You're seeing that on your screen happening near Tel Aviv. Here at 501 on the East Coast, giving you a live look in central Israel, Tel Aviv on your screen as we continue to follow this.
And of course, that's what we're doing as well, that we're continuing to follow the story as always. And Charles says back what I missed. Oh, yeah, just, whole barrage of 20 missiles, and actually penetrating through the Iron Dome and then hitting a hospital and some buildings, some apartment buildings and stuff like that. Anyways, let me go ahead and bring up our last story for the morning, man. We've got it right here. Let's go ahead and bring it up. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu on Iran.
Okay, we have a question in English, CNN.
Mr. President, thank you very much. Iranian officials say they were targeting a military facility near here. What did you say to President Trump as he tries to make up his mind about whether to come in and support Israel, particularly at a time when we read that you have to ration some of your defensive missiles because it's so intense?
No kidding, Steve.
President Trump will do what's best for America. I trust his judgment. He's a tremendous friend, a tremendous world leader, a tremendous friend of Israel and the Jewish people. And we will do what we have to do, and we are doing it. We are committed to destroying the nuclear threat, the threat of a nuclear annihilation against Israel. We're able to do it. And we, of course, will make our own determination. But I have to say that the partnership with the United States, the partnership with President Trump, with whom I speak to almost every day, is incredible. I think his resolve, his
guaranteed every time that Trump goes into that situation room, they've got Netanyahu up on the main screen and everything. Guaranteed almost every day.
Determination and his clarity when he says Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And for that to take place, Iran cannot enrich uranium. It's as simple as that. He gave them the chance to do it through negotiations.
Absolutely. He wants to pull us into this. Absolutely, Big Red. That's his goal.
You don't string along Donald Trump. He knows the game. And I think that we're both committed to making sure that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and they won't.
In your heart of hearts, is the United States going to come on board and help you with these strikes?
That's a decision for the president to make, but I can tell you that they're already helping a lot, because they're participating in the protection of the skies over Israel and its cities with THAAD missile batteries that are in Israel, with Aegis ships that are on the shore of Israel, with their pilots that are fighting alongside our pilots to knock out drones. I think it's a remarkable cooperation.
When you see this hospital, what can you tell?
What's up, Pablo?
You see this kind of...
Good morning.
I think it says everything about Israel and about Iran. Israel is fighting to remove the nuclear and missile threat aimed at our annihilation. We're targeting military sites. We're targeting nuclear sites. We're targeting missile sites. They're targeting a hospital. In this hospital, there are patients who are immobile. They can't even move. Right next to it is a children's ward, a baby's ward, infants. They target it. They can give this nonsense that they're targeting military sites. What military sites? I know all the military sites in Israel. There isn't a military site here for miles and miles around.
Right.
They're targeting civilians because they're a criminal regime. They're the arch terrorists of the world. They want to have nuclear terrorism, which will put the entire world under nuclear blackmail, and they would use these weapons. That's what the Ayatollah Khamenei says that he would do. He would use these weapons to wipe Israel off the map. Well, he's not going to. We're not going to let him. And we're in the process of achieving a tremendous victory. And our victory is aimed at those two goals. People ask me, are we targeting the downfall of the regime? That may be a result, but it's up to the Iranian people to rise for their freedom. Freedom is never cheap. It's never free. Freedom requires these subjugated people to rise up, and it's up to them. But we may create conditions that will help them do it. Our goal is twofold: nuclear, ballistic missile. We're going to remove that. We are in the process of completing removing this threat.
Shit, he said it right. Freedom ain't free. That's damn straight, dude. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys know, we have pushed the Diamond Effect from last night to tonight. So we have the Diamond Effect with Archbishop and Aaron Olinger tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. But if I don't see you guys there tonight, we will definitely be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness, right? We always are. But I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough, because it's because of you guys that we're able to do this freaking show. So you guys made the dream come true, sincerely. Very appreciative. You know what I mean? So listen, ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We're going to be rating our buddy Black Dragon, so stick around for that as well. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out. Always appreciate that. And until later on tonight, much love, honor, respect, everybody, and God bless everyone.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in its soul. rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.